Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place. It is currently 8 AM in the morning and it is going to be 40 degrees where I am today, so I am really not feeling this. But today is publication day for Louise Pentland's new book, Wilde Women. This is the third in the series and the last. The first was Wilde Like Me, the second was Wilde Like the Girl, and the third, which is released today, is Wilde Women. I picked this book up in Asda yesterday. It was released a day early there for some reason, I'm not sure why, but it was only £6. I'm so glad I waited. I did really want a signed edition, but I know that there was a lot of hoo-ha from WH Smith, so I thought it was best to just leave it, get it from a supermarket when it came out, and managed to get it a day early, so I was really happy about that. So I think the most striking thing about this book is how much Louise has grown as an author. So from reading her first novel, Wilde Like Me, to now reading Wilde Women, she has just evolved and developed her writing style so much, and I am living for it. Now, I don't know if this is just me, but if you watch Louise's videos, I feel like you find yourself reading the book in Louise's voice, which I know is absolutely ridiculous because Robin and Louise are not the same person, but you can't help it. They are just so similar, and you can really tell that Robin has been based off of Louise and Louise has drawn from her experiences, that you can't help but do that. Yeah, I just think Robin is so much like her that it makes it really hard not to compare the two and not to read them in her voice. I know people aren't keen on that. I know I've seen a lot of reviews of YouTubers' books where people aren't keen on authors making the characters like themselves. But everyone does it. It's only because we are so familiar with Louise's life that we know far more about her experiences than we do about other authors. I feel like usually when you read a book, you don't really know anything about the author, so they could literally be telling their life story and you would have no idea because you don't know them. But with authors like Louise Pentland, Carrie Hope Fletcher, Giovanna Fletcher, you just know so much about them that it's hard not to compare them. One of the little things that I love about this series is that she always includes a sprinkle of glitter reference. So if you've been a fan of Louise for a while, which I have, her channel used to be called Sprinkle of Glitter, and I love that she still incorporates that into her books. That's just a little fun thing to look out for if you do read the series, because there is one use of it in each book. So now we're going to get to a bit about the book. I will say, if you haven't read the first two, obviously there is going to be spoilers of the first two because I can't talk about the third and things that are starting to happen in it without spoiling a little bit from the first two. So if you haven't read them, click away now, or if you're happy for me to spoil the first two books, keep watching. So we pick up pretty much where we left off. Robin Wilde is a single mum to her young daughter Lila. She has just secured this amazing job. She has a fantastic support system. Her friends are all doing amazingly. Their businesses are flourishing, and she has this new drop-dead gorgeous boyfriend, and everything just seems perfect. But we all know from the first two books that Robin's life is one hell of a bumpy ride, just like everyone else's. And before she knows it, she is whisked off to New York on a work trip. And she is not by herself this time. The whole family is in tow. She feels like she is living this dream. She's now in New York with all of her favourite people, working her dream job, and she feels like nothing can go wrong. But it's not long before cracks start to form and certain relationships start to crumble, and we get the roller coaster ride that we were all expecting. Whenever I read Louise's books, I'm struck by the normalcy of them. She talks about normal people's lives and normal people's struggles, and all whilst intermingling taboo topics in there, ones that we tend not to talk about. So postnatal depression, miscarriage, all those kinds of things that I think we as a society struggle to talk about, but she laces it in there in a way that seems so normal, so that it normalizes it for us. I know when I went through my miscarriage, I didn't really talk to anyone about it. It's books like these and Happy Mum and Happy Baby by Giovanna Fletcher which really made it easier for me to open up about my experience. She also accurately represents how misguided not only social media makes you feel, but also this front that you put up for other people that just isn't you. but we put it on to make people see us in a certain way because that's the way we want to be perceived. It doesn't show who we really are, and she writes this so perfectly in a way that is so relatable no matter who you are. I feel like this series, in particular this book, really empowers women, and so much of what Louise has written leaves you feeling like an absolute boss, especially the ending. Obviously I'm not going to spoil it, I'm not going to say too much about it, but in a series that has seen this vulnerable single mum turn into this confident badass woman, the ending just shows how much of a journey her character has been on. And yeah, I full on sobbed at the end because I was so proud of Robin and just the decisions that she made. I just thought, you have grown so much and I'm so flipping proud of you. I think it was a great eye-opener to show how much times are changing, how society is changing. Obviously, I'm trying not to spoil, but the ending is just fan-bloody-tastic. Louise, once again, is such a tearjerker in this book. And so many parts left me choked and feeling emotional. And so many issues were handled so delicately. Again, not going to spoil it, but in particular, Lacey and Kath's storylines were absolutely beautifully done. And especially if you're familiar with those topics, it's really relatable and done in such a sensitive manner. I'm not going to say any more about the book, just know that Robin has grown in confidence tenfold in this book and she is taking the world by frigging storm. Another little bit that I liked about the book is the little mentions of author friends. Again, I'm not going to say who, I think that's for you to find, but it did make me smile to see some very familiar faces in there. I obviously did write notes for this video and I feel like I've just completely veered away from them because I had so much to say. I wasn't going to say more than this, but I just feel like Robin is one of my favourite female characters in a book ever. She is one of the most relatable characters, and just to see someone that started off vulnerable and in such a dark place to where she is now, I feel like it gives all of us hope because Robin is just a normal girl like us. So yeah, I feel like that's why it's left such an impression on me, because I feel like, well, if Robin can do it, I can do it, because she's so similar to an everyday working woman, which I flippin' love. I finished this book in literally 3 hours. That is how much I loved it. It was absolutely unputdownable. It's super easy to read, super easy to get into. I feel like it is the perfect summer book. It has that perfect summery vibe. And also, another thing to mention, if you're like me and hate really small font and font that's hard to read, you have no worries with this book. Look how big that font is. That is the font for people like me. I tried to close the book really quickly then in case there are any spoilers on that page. But as I say, Wild Women is out today. Go and pick up a copy because it is absolutely amazing. The perfect end to the series, and Louise, thanks for writing another corker. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Or you can turn on the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos, which is usually every Tuesday and every Saturday. Also, if you couldn't tell throughout this video, I do have a bit of a sore throat because hay fever is in full force at the moment. And now I'm going to go and edit this video and hopefully have it up by today. Fingers crossed. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you'd like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.